Hello and welcome back to Against the Storm Overexplained. Today we get our first look at the world map, and according to the Queen's Envoy, the world is a vast, ever-changing place, and at its heart lies the smoldering city. Enter the smoldering city and use the resources you've gathered so far to buy the Obsidian Archive Level 1 upgrade. So we're going to do that. Obsidian Archive Level 1, it's going to make the Queen's Impatience grow 2% slower, and it's also going to unlock deeds, which are kind of like achievements. And since we have another 10 food supply, I think I'm going to go ahead and get the plus 10% more Citadel resources whenever I finish a settlement. I feel like getting that very early is going to help a lot down the line. This world is governed by the eternal Blightstorm cycle. It is almost upon us, so no caravans are allowed to embark. Press the button on the lower right corner of the screen to finish the cycle. So we got 30 experience, unlocked a couple of things. And the Blightstorm wipes out everything around. Your goal as Viceroy is to reach the ancient seals with your caravan and reforge them, pushing back the Blightstorm. You're almost ready to venture out on your own. Choose any map tile inside your embarkation range to begin. So if I were to settle next to this Monastery of the Holy Flame, I cannot forbid consumption or favor any species. We haven't even talked about favoring species yet, so I feel like this is actually an okay one to go to. And we'll go ahead and start with the Marshlands here. To embark, you must first choose a caravan that will become the foundation of your town's population. Next, choose a difficulty. The higher the risk, the greater the reward. But beware, an inexperienced Viceroy won't last long on the higher difficulties. Lastly, use all of your embarkation points to take extra goods with you. You are finally ready to embark on your own. Remember, there is always a way out. Experiment and adapt. May the storm be gentle on you, Viceroy. I don't think it will be. Okay. So to start with, we have 3 embarkation points, and each of these is worth 1, so we're just going to go ahead and take all 3 of them. We are going to start on settler mode because we are still in tutorial, times, but we're going to steadily increase that over the course of the next several videos. Let's go ahead and grab... We either have 6 humans or 3 humans and 3 lizards. Either way, we get 2 villagers, we get some basic goods. This one is a little bit more food heavy, whereas this one has copper. I think we're going to go with the 6 humans. Now, the Marshlands is one of our biomes, a harsh and cold land that has been claimed by many different and extremely resilient species of fungi. The ground here is extremely hard and rocky, making it difficult to farm. This region is most famous for the giant organisms that can be found in its forests. So the idea is in the Marshlands, in forbidden glades, there are these gigantic creatures and plants that you can use to get lots and lots of resources. Also notice I'm going to get 30 experience for this and all of these resources. As I increase the difficulty, the experience goes up as well. But we're starting on settler for now. Conditions. Seasonal conditions. You have positive seasonal conditions and negative seasonal conditions. We don't know what they're going to be, but we know there's going to be 2 positive and 1 negative. This is another thing that changes as you increase difficulty. Also, we have the Monks of Holy Flame, as I said before. The Marshlands are a gatherer's paradise. Gathering speed is increased by 10% for every 2 workers assigned to camps. And finally, giant organisms. The Marshlands are home to enormous life forms. Giant resource nodes can be found in the Forbidden Glades. Each glade will have a different one. I believe there's 3. One for meat, one for mushrooms, and one for grain. And with all that in mind, let's go ahead and embark. Okay, what are our mysteries? During the drizzle, we get +3 to mushroom production, and we increase the speed at which traders arrive by 3 times. Again, those are only during the drizzle. Looming darkness is the same all the time. You get a resolve penalty during the storm that is increased depending on your hostility, and if the hostility reaches 2 or more, then this faint flame, resources I sacrifice to the hearth, burn 40% quicker. We haven't done any sacrificing yet, but the idea is I want to try to keep the hostility below this number for as long as possible. So it's the all-human show right now. Put in some paths, put in some shelters. Now, I actually don't generally choose my first blueprint until I have opened up a couple of glades. But this time around, I'll go ahead and pick up the lumber mill. I'll pick up the trapper camp. And I'm going to leave it at that for now. I'm not going to make my third choice until I know a little bit more about what's around me. It's going to be a while before we can make a lumber mill, but we can go ahead and make our crude workstation. And then, finally, a trading post should help us out early on. If you've been watching these videos, you know that the goal is to get my reputation up to the maximum before the impatience gets there. And I can get reputation by completing orders, by making my people happy, and by doing dangerous events. We're going to take the tanning racks to get more leather. And we're going to start getting some woodcutting camps going to start exploring. Now, I'm going to look for the forbidden ones, because those are the ones with the giant organisms. There's one there. There's one up there. There's usually 3. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put the other one here. We're going to start cutting our way towards this glade here. And we're also going to start cutting our way towards this glade here. First orders are in. 3 packs of crops, or we could have a stonecutter camp and a harvester camp. I feel like I'm going to build those camps at some point. Trapper camp and meat, I can definitely get that really fast, right? Because I already have the trapper camp blueprint, so that should go pretty quick. Trading post and 5 amber to get me some biscuits and some parts and some tools, or 10 planks, which will be easy because I have a lumber mill, for cloth and bricks. So this could probably get me going a little bit faster early on. This is probably a better idea in the long run. Both of them I'm going to get pretty easily. Let's go ahead and go with trading post this time. Okay, what do we have here? We've got a couple of caches. Ooh, we've got some coal, which is always extremely welcome. I'm going to drop a mine on that right now, even though it's going to be a while before I can make it, because I need bricks and planks, but I'm going to drop that on there anyway. A cemetery full of traitors killed by desperate viceroys. What drove them to commit such heinous crimes? Was it out of greed or necessity? We have 13 minutes before either it gives us our goods are worth less to traders and it gives us impatience. We can either burn it down, which will give us a whole bunch of hostility, and a whole lot of interesting stuff, though. 5 ancient tablets is a lot. And we don't have what it takes to report it anyway, so I guess we have no choice but to burn it down. Every 60 seconds. So we're actually going to drop one of these woodworkers, and we're going to burn down this cemetery. Also, I think a stonecutter camp is a great plan because we've got a bunch of stone up here. This little hammer icon means that there's no worker available to build it. So for this one, I both have no building materials and no builders. In a couple of minutes, I'll have my builders back, though. In my experience, it's often better to cut directly to the dangerous glades, because the little glades will increase your hostility without giving you really big rewards. That's not always true, but it's mostly true. Okay, now we're starting to get that. We need a blueprint still. We don't really have anything, do we? Okay, I guess we'll go ahead and take the cookhouse. It's not super useful to us right now, but maybe we'll get a good source of meat sometime soon. We have our second dangerous glade open. Large destroyed caravan. Again, we have the chance to either send it to the Citadel using resources we don't have, or we can loot it, get a bunch of stuff, and have -5 resolve while that happens. My resolve is 18 right now, so I'm not worried about a -5. Lots and lots of abandoned caches. Alright, we're getting some pots and some wildfire essence from this. And we're going to set you to avoid glades, and we're going to set you to avoid glades. I don't want any surprises. If I cut through to a glade, I want it to be because I meant to. Got our first storm, but we seem to be weathering it just fine. Planks, fabric, bricks. I want a maximum of 10 of each because this is a very inefficient building for making things. I don't want to waste any of my resources. Okay, a lot of stuff just happened all at once. We ticked back into the drizzle, so we're going to start by choosing a cornerstone. Houses have room for more villagers, always nice. I don't really need more wildfire essence, so I think I'm going to go with crowded houses. We get some newcomers. We have the cookhouse, which is going to probably be a while before we can make it. And then finally we have Sahilda, one of our traders. to whom I would very much like to sell one of these things. So, let's look at trading, okay? When you trade, you can see in the parentheses up there how much each one is worth. So if I was going to say 4 of them, each of them is worth 8 for a total of 32. Yeah? They, unfortunately, have a multiplier, making it so that their amber is worth more than ours. They're the traders. So for them, 1 amber is actually worth 1.25. And if you ever want to, like, say I wanted to sell 2 of these, and I didn't want to, like, tick it up one at a time, I can just hit auto, and it will tell me how many it gives me. However, notice there is a 1 amber difference here. So I can pick up something cheaper, like roots, get a couple of those, get these 2 numbers closer together, and then I can trade. Traders also have access to blueprints and cornerstones that you can buy, and some of them have some pretty bonkers ones. And then finally, you have the ability to attack the trader. In fact, we're dealing with a graveyard right now where someone did that. It will lose you some of your people, it will lose you the respect of the trading guild for your run, but it will give you some stuff. Now, that finishes the trading post 1. Trading. Once you build a trading post, traders will visit you periodically. You can barter with them by selecting their goods and offering some of your resources in return. The bar beneath the selected goods will show you if the trader is happy with your proposal, and once the bar turns green, you can press the trade button to confirm the transaction. When there's no trader in town, you can select the trading post to find out when the next one arrives. Traders will not come during the storm. Traders can also be attacked and robbed. To do so, use the sword icon in the trade panel, but beware, this action will have severe consequences. Traders are really useful for dealing with early dangerous glades because you can often buy the things that you need if you don't have them. Okay, so we're picking stuff up. You really want me to pick a blueprint? Smokehouse, kiln, provisioner. Well, if we end up doing meat, the smokehouse would be good. But I don't really have, once again, anything to go on. I don't know which of those is the best. You don't have to choose your cornerstones or your blueprints right away. You can wait to find out what would be advantageous. I think clothing the people is the way to go because we just picked up a bunch of coats, right? Then we'll grab human influx, although I don't know if we're really going to be getting a lot of grain. We do need to set up a harvester's camp just for the order. Literally, there's nothing in here for a harvester camp to pick up, so we're just going to go ahead and drop it down there to finish the camp, or to finish the order, and then we will probably destroy it right away. Got that done. Excellent. Okay, I guess we're gonna go with the smokehouse. And we'll go with the rain mill. Again, we need a source of wheat for that to work, but we don't have a whole lot in the way of options right now. What we can do, however, is take this trapper camp and set it on these eggs. Now, if at any point you want the trader to come immediately, you can call them immediately for 0.5 impatience. That doubles every time you do it, so it goes to 1 and then 2 and then 4, and then potentially 8 if you can. We're going to go ahead and drop the lumber mill here. We'll send one person here to start gathering eggs. Just want to make sure that we're nice and fed. And speaking of which, let's go ahead and take a look at these bits of information up here. This tells us how much of each kind of good we have. This tab is fuel and exploration, so we have 6 tools, 50 wood, 26 coal, things that burn and things that are used for exploration. When it comes to trade goods, it tells us the things that we have that are tradable, although everything's tradable, but this is the stuff that is specifically for trading. All your crafting resources, all your building materials, and all your food. So at any point, you can click on these up here to find out where you're at. Speaking of tabs, these are all our buildings, roads, camps, food production, houses, shelter, industrial buildings, city buildings, and decorations. So that's where all of that lives. We need 20 meat, but we have not found any meat nodes just yet. We got our second trader, Zorg. I could just buy the meat. And now that I've bought the meat, I can go ahead and finish up this order, getting us another blueprint, and as you can see, we are now at 3 reputation. We'll go ahead and grab the Weaver. One of the very easiest things you can do to make your people more happy is to get fabric plus coats. Not everything requires clothing, lizards don't, but humans and beavers both really benefit from having coats. We'll start with the Weaver. We'll drop it right here. Cloth is what I need mostly. Also, now that I'm getting some stone, I should be able to start breaking open some of these. This one only requires 5 tools, so we're going to go ahead and send it to the Citadel. We do need grain, so we're going to go ahead and break this one open. Need bricks. New year, new cornerstone. Gain a villager every time you discover a new glade. Each group has 2 additional villagers. More villagers tends to be better, at least until you get to like the end game where food becomes really scarce. We're going to go ahead and do crowded caravan. And we're almost there on clothing the people. Even more coats, and that was a lot of folks, so we're going to go ahead and start putting them to work right away. Now, this main hearth here, you can put anyone in there, and each person, each species has a different benefit for being the hearth keeper. Okay? The humans, impatience grows 25% slower. If you put a beaver in there, then fuel consumption is decreased by 20%, making your fuel last longer. And if you put a lizard in, it will give everyone across the board a +1 global resolve bonus. All of which is fantastic. I usually default to having a lizard in the firekeeper role, personally. Clothing the people is done, so we'll go ahead and turn that in. And we can grab a brickyard, and once all 3 of these are built, we will absolutely not need the crude workshop any longer. this is the last grain we need. Done. We're going to get 5 more people in here, but we're also going to get some jerky and some bricks. Our population is growing super fast. We definitely are going to need more houses. This may be a good time now to talk about the ancient hearth and how to upgrade it. So as you start getting in new population, you can upgrade your hearth with decorations and it will give benefits. So if I make 4 comfort decorations within the range, then this will level up to the encampment, which gives +2 to global resolve, and it makes the ancient hearth more resistant to corruption, which we haven't talked about yet. There's lots of great decorations, and you can earn more as you go. I'm partial to the park because it counts as 4 decorations because it's 4 squares. Alright, what do you have? Extra fabric's not bad. What do I need right now? I think I need planks and fabric. And it wants me to pick a blueprint. There were some mushrooms out there, right? Let's go ahead and go with the herbalist camp. Yeah, because we got some mushrooms around. Okay, you don't need to make anything else now except for bricks. We got so many people. Okay. We can also make scrolls. I think we're going to do that to a limit of, let's say, 40. Don't need any trade goods. And planks we will limit to 20. The weaver. We can go ahead and make some fabric. We can make some training gear, which is for brawling. Again, to a maximum of 40. Now, training gear is for brawling, which is a service, so I'm going to need a building for it. So I'm just going to bank this and hope that I get the blueprint for the right building. Our mine is finished. So we're going to start digging up that sweet, sweet coal. Coal is a more efficient form of fuel than wood is. It burns more slowly. So sometimes if I've got a really good source of coal or sea marrow, I will simply stop burning wood. You can uncheck these to stop burning that. Not only that, but you can sort of prioritize which fuels are used most often. So now I want coal to be a little bit more prioritized than wood. I can also sacrifice fuel to the hearth, which means making it burn even faster, to reduce hostility, or to increase my work speed, essentially. So as you can see, the ancient hearth has gotten a little bit more intricate now that we've gotten it up to the next level. We got a few more orders. Let's see. We already have a lot of roots, so let's go ahead and grab that one. 10 aesthetic decorations. I think I can manage that. And then finally, either trailblazing, discover 4 glades, or rain collector and drizzle water. I think I'm going to go with trailblazing. And speaking of which, it is about time to start making our way towards one of these forbidden glades. But which one? Break that one open. Brickyard's done, which means we don't need you anymore at all. I have to move you to where the other eggs are. on comes the storm one more time. We literally need one more route for the beaver influx quest. I don't think either of these is particularly for me, so I'm going to decline and gain 10 amber. We got more people coming in. Still no homeless, though. We've got plenty of space for now. But we definitely need to start, like, building some more things for them to do. So we'll start by going into this Forbidden Glade. Now, as we go into the Forbidden Glade, I like setting up a warehouse very close, because often what's up here requires you to be able to go back to the warehouse and back and forth rather quickly. And I'm even going to set this priority to 5. I want it to be the first thing that people build. We can also... So we've got the small hearth, which allows you to make a second hearth, yeah. And I could put it out here, but they can't overlap spaces. So I'm going to have to wait until I make something up here before I can put one in this area. Zorg, my man, how's it going? What do you got for me? You got any roots? You do. Lovely. That gives us the beaver influx quest done. We now actually have some homeless folks, so we're going to make some more shelters. Hubs and hearth levels. While expanding your settlement, it's very useful to set up hubs in faraway glades so that your villagers don't have to walk all the way back to the town center just to deposit collected goods or to take a break. To create a hub, you'll need a warehouse and a small hearth, and to assign a new firekeeper. You can have multiple hubs at once if, of course, you can afford to build them and have enough fuel to sustain multiple hearths. It's also important to remember that each hearth has its own range, and they can't be placed too close to other hearths, like we just said. Hearths can be upgraded by building homes, decorations, and service buildings within their range. Each hearth level will grant you bonuses to resolve, production speed, and production output. These bonuses stack with each hearth in your settlement, so we want to make sure we've got multiple hearths, where appropriate, and level them up. We're going to change you back to fell all trees so that you actually break through there. We need 10 aesthetic decorations. The garden counts as 4, so that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we'll make a couple of little flower beds too. There and there. Perfect. Okay, we've got our Forbidden Glade, and the first thing we see is this massive, dead whale. A giant dead beast. How did it get here? But you'll notice that it not only gives me meat, and it not only has 1,000 charges, but it also has a big chance to get me some pretty great materials. Leather, sea marrow, jerky, and crystallized dew. Our danger here is this lightning catcher. We can either fix it, or we can burn it down. I've got plenty of parts, and I've got plenty of pottery, So let's go ahead and fix it this time. We also have a supplier here that could be rebuilt. And we've got more stuff we can mine, more eggs. And we're actually going to set up another trapper camp right next to this thing. We're going to clear out some of this area. Make some more path. This is going to be our nice next little hub, I think. Because I want them to harvest from the whale, take it down to here, and also, I don't want them to have to go far to take a break. So I'm going to put my second hearth right there. This trapper camp has nothing nearby. I think we're going to go ahead and continue to go after this whale here. Herbalist camp also doesn't have anything, but fortunately there's a big patch of mushrooms right here. Aesthetics done, so let's go ahead and turn that in. And we get 2 more. High resolve for beavers. It's currently at 18. I can get it up to 22 pretty easily. And then I can focus on farming, or I can fund an outpost. I probably won't get either of those done. It's funny, because this is the time when I would favor the beavers. So here is a mechanic that I can't use, but if I favor a particular species, they get +5 to their resolve, but both other species get -5 to theirs, and there's a pretty significant cooldown on it. It's a very powerful tool when used well, but it's also easy to abuse. Still wants us to choose a blueprint. At this point, since I know we've got a lot of meat coming in, we can go ahead and make the smokehouse. We can also go ahead and make the cookhouse. We're getting a lot of leather, so leather worker might be a good plan. Oh, we're also getting a lot of cloth, so let's go with the clothier. So we're making skewers. We're making biscuits, and that's it. I literally only care about the coats. We're going to cut into this dangerous glade really quick. We still need 3 more glades for our trailblazing quest. We are making biscuits, so let's go ahead and take spices. We got Sahilda in the house. We're going to increase our ability to make coats. Are we missing anything that we really need? Not really. We seem to be doing just fine. We have some fishmen. We can either chase them away, or we can bribe them. We've got the training gear, we've got the stone. Let's chase them away. That'll give us a point of reputation, and we're almost there, honestly. Ooh, a haunted druid's hut. So notice that the haunted druid's hut, if we salvage it, turns it into the flawless druid's hut, which gives us oil, incense, and coats at absolute maximum efficiency. It's pretty great. However, the cost is that we're going to get -3 to global resolve every 60 seconds for however long this takes. So let's see how long it's going to take. Only 1:20. I'm okay with that. We're going to cleanse it. Oh, except that I don't have incense. I'm going to use scrolls instead. Gotta remember to hit investigate. Okay, 2 more glades. They don't even need to be dangerous ones, just 2 more glades. We'll start with this one. And then 1 more, I think. Probably this one. There we go. All trees. All trees. Got a fishman totem over here, which we can assign someone to deal with. Kind of morbid, gathering off of this gigantic whale, but here we are. That looks like a thumbnail to me. We got a new fishman totem being made by this other event, so let's go ahead and send someone to get that. Trailblazing's done, so we'll turn that in. We'll go ahead and grab the bakery. Our lizards are doing really well. Got that one done, so we only have about 1 more point of reputation to get. So lizards tend to like it where it's warm. So the bakery, the hearth, any place that seems like it would be warm is probably the best place for your lizards to make them happy. We got Zorg back. Like, I literally don't need any of this, right? But because I've got the money, I'm just going to go ahead and buy all the really good foods just to make sure that my people are super happy and we can finish this. And that should be, theoretically, the end of it unless we get to the storm first. Let's find out. The little exclamation point means that though there is someone in there, for some reason it can't work. For example, I can't make any more fabric because I'm already beyond the maximum that I set. So if I set you to 60, now suddenly they're going to start making training gear again. The mine has no ore. Well, I guess that's that then. Couple of last orders. A ancient tablet. Have 16 humans. I think I have 16 humans. I have 23 humans. Rainproof coats I've already able to deliver, and that's the end of it. Kind of an anticlimactic end, but here we go. We got, wow, so many deeds. But we did not level up, so we're going to go back to the world map. I salute you for your achievements, Viceroy. Many who have entered these lands never came back. As is tradition, you can petition the crown for a resupply. So I can get seal fragments, which help me get to that thing we were looking at before, the ancient seal. I can get more embarkation points, which isn't going to help me because I don't have anything to get. Or I can increase my range by 2. I think I'm going to go with the obsidian box. And looks like we've got a couple more tutorials that we can run. But first, let's go ahead and read through these, read more here. The Blightstorm cycle. The world of Against the Storm is governed... Wait, we already did this, didn't we? No, we didn't. Okay. The world of Against the Storm is governed by an eternal cycle. Every few decades, a cataclysm known as the Blightstorm wipes out the entire world map. The only safe haven is the smoldering city. The calendar at the bottom of the screen shows how much time is left until the next Blightstorm. The bar slowly fills up with each settlement you complete or you abandon. The amount of time is based on the number of years you spend in a given town, so you want to try to win quickly if you can to get more towns. When the bar at the bottom of the screen fills up, you will no longer be able to build new settlements. You can only complete the cycle by pressing the highlighted button next to the calendar. Once the Blightstorm begins, the world map will begin to reshape itself. Settlements are destroyed, biomes regenerate, and modifiers appear in new locations. Ancient Seals. The Blightstorm cycle is said to be somehow connected to the strange ancient seals found all around the world map. These intricate structures were built by a long-forgotten civilization, and it is believed that they hold a primeval, malevolent force at bay, the so-called Sealed Ones. Unfortunately, the power of the seals has gradually waned over the millennia, causing the Sealed Ones to slowly regain their hold on this world. Your goal as the Queen's Viceroy isn't just to establish settlements and collect resources, but also to reforge these ancient seals and help the Crown protect the kingdom. To reforge a seal, you will have to journey toward it with your caravan, collect enough seal fragments on the way there by winning games and completing modifiers, then successfully settle right next to it at the very end of the cycle. If you make it there much sooner, you can try to reforge it right away, but the cycle will end as soon as you start your settlement in the sealed forest. There are several types of seals with distinct names and symbols. Each subsequent seal requires more seal fragments and is located further away from the smoldering city. At the beginning of your journey, you will only see 4 seals on the world map, 2 of the same type as the recently completed one and 2 new ones. But once you reforge the gold seal for the first time, you will gain access to seal contracts, a feature that allows you to freely pick which type of seals will spawn on the world map. Successfully reforging a seal will grant you additional Citadel resources. The first time you reforge a specific seal type, the time between future Blightstorms is extended by a few years. So that was a lot of text, but this is one of our really big goals here. We're making our way towards the seal and trying to deal with it. Modifiers and world events. The world map is full of things waiting to be discovered. Every point of interest on the map is marked with a question mark and may turn out to either be a modifier or a world event. Modifiers are special types of objects that change the rules of the game, for example by allowing you to move any buildings instead of just some of them, or by blocking your ability to trade. To accept a modifier challenge, simply settle on a map tile adjacent to it, like we did. After you win a game near it, the modifier will disappear, and you'll be rewarded with additional Citadel resources, or, in some cases, a special supply box from the Queen herself, with unique rewards, such as seal fragments or reserve embarkation points. World events, on the other hand, are short, random encounters that offer a specific choice or challenge. To interact with an event, simply select it when it's in range. Events are indicated by an exclamation point. And a dialog box will appear with several options to choose from. Some are as simple as giving up a villager from the caravan for additional resources in a subsequent game, while others require you to win a run under certain conditions. Okay, so that was a lot of text. We do have a watchtower here, which is pretty cool, but I do want to do these tutorials. So we're going to go ahead and start with hostility and trade. But we're going to do that in the next video because my throat is killing me. I did a lot of reading today. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.